And what we are planning to, this is only a teaser. So we're not going to start telling you what exactly we're going to do, but we'll tell you how to do it, what we're going to do. So first of all, as I said, congratulations. You've come through 2 levels of successfully not being rejected. Very typically, let me tell you, I'm from the 1980 batch of IAS. I was also the topper of the interview in my batch. I got 212. I got 212 out of 250. Those days marks were 250 and I got 212. And that's the whole challenge. I mean, now the idea is that all of you should crack the 210 level. You must get 210 to 225 out of 275. And why are we running this program? I mean, I have done a very detailed analysis of the civil services results as such. Now, back then in 60s and 70s, if you saw the entire result, typically about more than 75 to 80% of the names that would figure in, and I'm only talking about the top 150. Exactly. So Anbadagan will get selected because they want Anbadagan. They'll not select Anbadagan because he's behaving like Rishabh, or Rishabh is behaving like Rahul. So that's very, 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 very clear. So what we will be doing in this personality test. Now this is going to be entirely different. It's not going to be a test where I'm going to be spoon feeding you. I'll be telling you. What we will be doing is what they do in the armed forces, what they call ragda, which means really rub you guys. I mean, so which means for the ratio has to be 1:10, 1:15. So if I'm going to tell you something for 1 minute, you'll have to go home and practice it for 10 to 15 minutes. See, first of all, tell me, I mean, is there anyone who's not serious about getting into the civil services? Environment important. The environment going forward is very important. What was the influence of the environment? And therefore, what happens is that these 2 combinations of biological and environment, which I would say the inner personality and the outer personality, is what determines your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings, your behavior, your responses. All those things will be determined by that. Now, it's very, very important that, first of all, I would request all of you to clean your slate. Completely clean your slate. Start writing anew. Let nothing of the past influence you. Only one objective. From now on, there's only one objective. You've seen the race, the horses, how they run in the race? The horses, when they run in a race, if you have not, please go and see a look in Madras Race Club, or just go and see the Derby or anything else. All these battles which you have won so far, if you do not win the last battle, the war is lost. And nobody commends anyone who has done 2 times prelims, 3 times mains. Ultimately, the test is, did you crack the final examination or not? That's the important point. So that's it. I mean, that's some of the things we'll do. Best out of that was done during the prelims. You've come past that. Your capacity to be able to see a large data and a large quantity of information, bring it down to our 250 words, 300 words, 500 words, 1,000 words, whatever was the time limit and the number limit that was given to you at the mains has already been done. You've come through it. You're successful. Over. They're not going to be grilling you now in terms of whether you know that or you do that. It's not. It's not a test of your knowledge. That's all over. It's now with that knowledge base which I've tested for these children, are they capable of joining and delivering the services which we hope to expect from them if they select? Which is what they're going to check. They're going to check your administrative personality. Are you suitable for administration? Are you able to communicate? Because that's what leadership is all about.
It's your capacity to be able to confidently communicate both to
your client as well as to your bosses. So one up, one down. They should feel happy.
21st of February.
Wow.
14th March.
Okay.
25th February.
Wow.
25th February.
Wow.
21st Feb.
Oh, so 2 21st Feb, 2 25th this thing, and the rest on March. Perfect. So we have time. It's not 11th March, 12th March. Even if it's there, no problem. We have time. So this is what I'm saying, that the idea is that they will be checking your level of confidence. They'll be checking your level of communication. The last point which I want to make very clearly in terms of what is a personality test, that it's not a question answer session. It's a conversation. It's a conversation where, you know, they talk to you and enjoy talking to you. 20 to 25 minutes, 30 minutes outer. In 30 minutes, you could be questioned and answered on even 30 points. If you were to follow the question answer format, in 25 to 30 minutes, you could be questioned and answered on 25 to 30 subjects. But if you are talking and conversing, in 25 to 30 minutes, you can cover maximum 7 to 8 points. The idea is very simply this. It has to be a conversation. The conversation, pesarde. Uperenna, Rahul. Would you like to expand on that? For 2 minutes, then you can have a conversation and you can tell it. Now the answer, how do you answer? Whether you answer tuck, 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 where are you from? So you could say, sir, born in the state of Roshogulla and living in the land of Doshai. But I don't have a mustache, but essentially from a land from where mustaches are grown. West Bengal, Tamil Nadu. But how long have you lived in some places? The longest is if it's Tamil Nadu, then you say, but I consider myself a Tambi now, and I'm from Tamil, I'm so and so place. Story banao. Don't be apologetic about anything.
What do I do? Now you have already succeeded at 2 levels. And I do not see any reason why you should not be able to succeed very well in the last level. It's exactly the same thing. What they'll be asking you is something not new. Maybe they may ask you something which you don't know nothing about. Which you have to say, I'm sorry, sir, I don't know nothing about this. We'll also tell you about that. But I would say the chances of that are very few and far. Something that you just don't know.
He was very interested in studying, but he never learned in English. The reason he picked up English was because he joined the Forge. He was also from the Forge. Okay? And he started conversing in English when he joined after we finished the SSLC. My mom also comes from a very small village where there were 9 children. One of the reasons they got married was so that the burden in the family reduces. It's a fact. Okay. I was born in the same village also. Okay. But having born there, growing up and being a commissioned officer, serving in Punjab, my first posting, seeing about 4 degrees, going to Siachen Glacier and serving there, seeing minus 29 degrees, okay, rising to be a squadron leader, being a part of the Kargil war, and people will take you in. There's no doubt about it. For me, that was a trigger point. I'm hoping this course that we do with you will be the trigger point for you not only to crack this interview, to be the best of who you are. Okay, so you guys are damn good in academics, is very clear. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question, a science question. What is potential energy? Okay, I will give you wrong because definition is wrong. As a definition, what is potential? Okay, the way I'm adjusting the standing, all of these things are clear in the mirror. I used to practice in front of the mirror. I reached a point where I go into the loo, give me any word, and I'll speak about it. If there was a mic, it was in my hand. If there was a group, I used to talk. So in order to get over his fear, you know what he did? He joined Madras Christian College in English department. He became the CEO of Kane. That's a different matter, right? Anyone can do anything at any age. I'm the way, they'll say all these things. Don't believe all that. You can be anything that you want at any stage. Let me show you a video.
That's an app from Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh. Father died when I was 19 years old. Family of 3, and huge traumas. I mean, my father died within 1 year of his retirement. But he was in the Central Reserve Police, former army officer, but then joined the CRPF. I also qualified in the NBA, a little before him. 72 I qualified for the NDA. But I didn't join because I came to the IAS in 1980. And so I used to live with my mother and my father's elder brother. Now, that father's elder brother used to drink. He used to be he was a different human being. He was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. He was a different human being from Monday to Friday. He used to work in the office of the Postmaster General. A very, very diligent worker. Correctly, he would go to the office, but on Friday evening he would start drinking. By Saturday he would be vomiting. By Sunday he would start sobering up. Monday he would go back. But that's my childhood. That's my childhood. So do you allow that to... So when my father came, I said he had a stroke, 19 years old. My study for my graduation and first level of post, my graduation was actually done in the general ward of the hospital. Because he was sick, people said, Mama, I thought that was the best opportunity. You know, I'm looking at, you know, when you go back and think, and you see, I'm different, I was, born like this and all.
I don't know. I'm running for my life, not housing. You can start a new life at any age.
So all that you have done for so long, 2 years, 2.5 years, more, boils down to 25 minutes that you have in the interview. Alright? The last 25 meters of giving your best. Alright, like I said, personality, 3 P's. You have a persona, the last you have to perform. So in between you better practice. In fact, if you make PPP, practice, I'm okay. A magician will tell you, there are 3 reasons why he becomes a great magician. Practice, practice, practice. Absolutely right. Okay? And I'm telling you, you all are great here, you're all diamonds. The reason why you guys are not there is because you've got a potential. So my question to you is, if he can do this much, what can he do? Okay. Like I was talking to you about potential, let's give you a little example before I hand over to sir. You know, we have a right brain and a left brain. What does the left brain do? Logic, good. Logic, short-term memory, analog calculation, etc. What does the right brain do? Okay. How much of it is used? Left is required. Yeah, use more. Okay. Right, little less percentage. Okay, do you know how many brain cells you have? This question they won't ask you in the interview, but how much? Got 100% potential using 5 to 10%. Okay, I'll show you immediately. Right brain, right controls left controls right? So if you are using both sides of the brain, you should be able to do what I'm doing easily. Show. Come on, do it. Watch what I'm doing. Wow.
The one is going left, one is going right.
I'm not even thinking, I'm doing it right. Okay, I'm not doing cycling or reverse cycling. I'm not doing that. Okay.
The 20 hours will cover, as I said, how to approach people, understanding that, how to say, I don't know. And handling your inner outer personalities, how to think your answers outside the box, and that's why I give you the reason. I showed you examples of successful people. People had same set of circumstances, but made a difference. And all of us have, and all of you have also obviously all of you have also made a difference. That's how it worked out. So in some way you have all made a difference. That's what they want. They want that spark. They want that candle in the dark. So that's the good idea. We'll give you some tips on golden tips for successful. We'll give you some do's and don'ts. Here's a glimpse of what how to approach the interview. We'll be drilling down on this in much later. So before, de-stress yourself. So how to de-stress? We will be bringing in some yoga experts. We will also be teaching you breathing exercises. As I said, background is you already saw the action. The enemy in this case has my slide and my deception. Come and take a over 5. So so they have been occupied. Gardening is something you must study from a strategic point of view.
you best to stay aloof. Might look strange. Stay by yourself. No need for interaction, no need for talking to people and getting distracted. How do you go and sit in the chair? What kind of dress to wear? A lot of people in Tamil Nadu think like they do for their marriages, they go and buy a suit. Now when you're going, the weather will be nice and pleasant. So you can actually wear some nice suit. You can actually wear a nice cotton kind of jacket and impress. What kind of colors to wear? What kind of things not to, sorry? Colors are important. Light colors are preferred. White is a good color, light colors are preferred. But how do you say it? It's very, very important on how do you say it. We will teach you all those things. Very important aspect of how do you define prayer? Prayer, prathnai.
We say about focusing, a process where we unify our mind and our heart and we seek the blessings of the Lord.
No, prayer, prathnai. When you know,
Medium of communication, concentration.
speak to God, communicate with God.
We see something we very value.
The prayer could also be not for yourself. It could be also be for nation. It could be for your mother who's not well or sister. You know, it need not be for we. I mean, it can be for somebody else also. Can I change the little bit definition? Now write down, prayer is when we listen to God. Just write it down. Try praying now when you listen to God. Not when you go and vomit before God. And that's also when there's a problem. More often, you know, the vomiting happens more often when the prayer, you know, when the problems are more, Try making a prayer when you just go and say, here I am, want nothing to ask, nothing to share, nothing to tell. I want to listen to you. Speak with me. Get into that mode. Interview is not only what you have to tell to them. Get into the mode that when you learn to listen to the board. Start practicing from now. Calming your mind, sitting down, listening to what the board wants to tell you, being attentive. It's very important, and we'll teach you how to do it. To be able to listen to the board. And I'm not talking about the verbal listening. I'm talking about the body listening, the mind listening. You can make out that they are switching on or they are switching off. Catching those signals. What are those signals when you can catch that the board is with you or is already switched off and you are just rambling something? That's very important. Listening. And then therefore answering the question after you have listened. First listening, and we'll teach you how to do that. How to organize a quiet, broad outline of the answer in your mind before you start doing it. The framework should be well known how to do that. We'll practice with you. How do you get out? Very important. How you enter and how you get out. I have done huge amounts of mock interviews, and I think they're the biggest waste of productive time. I'm not saying time, but it's a big waste of productive time. I'm sorry, I hope I'm not breaking all the myths of the academies, but the mock interview, if it doesn't tell you what to do, how to do, when to do, and just kind of sits and mocks at you, where some people ask you some questions and you try and answer, and they say, "Oh, Apriya," doesn't teach you anything. But in any case, when we were also did the mock interview and I said, okay, thank you, the person needs to get up and get out of the room as if he has been sitting on an electric chair. Vidudalai. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. You have enjoyed being there. They've also enjoyed being there. They are 5 and they stay there. And they face something like, over a period of time, about 2.5 various boards, but totally about 2,900 people. All those who are called for, so about 2,000.
Around 2000 this year.
So 2,000 jokers like you know, they have to face. Who do you think should be pitied more? Them. They have all reached in life. They are all IAS officers, professors, technocrats, authors. You know, they've all gone through it. They've arrived in life. And yet they are sitting there on behalf of this thing and listening to. So it's important whether you have made that 25, 30 minutes saying that, wow, what a good time it was. Or they have to think, my God, if I have to go through this for 4 days, life will never be the same again. You know, seriously. So I think we should be thanking them. When we come out, we should be telling them thank you for sparing your time. And I'm getting out after 25 minutes, but you have to go through this 25 times more. So how to exit? It's very important how you exit. And the way you have to exit, whether you turn your back, not turn your back, all those things are very important. DAF, that's the killer. You've already filled it. It's already black and white. Can't change. 33 questions, 10 sections. You will be asked about it. Whether, start researching your DAF now. Start researching your DAF now. In the 20 hours that we will spend with you, we'll be spending a lot of time on DAF because that's all they know about you. Do you have a hobby? Do you have extracurricular activities? If not, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
What's your hobby?
Swimming and reading.
All right. So extracurricular activities, swimming and hobby is?
No, extracurricular hobby is swimming and reading.
Reading.
3 days already.
Okay.
Reading transport related for and watching travelers.
Okay.
Watching cricket.
You're getting into deep trouble now.
Watching cricket. Listening.
Watching cricket. Why? See, either you play cricket, women's cricket or men's cricket. Because if you say watching women's cricket, at least I'll get some idea. Okay, sari pombala yara pagara. Women watching cricket, what the hell is watching cricket? Chess also, sir, and I go and teach and play chess in an old people's home near my area. Not just chess myself. I am interested in chess, sir. I play chess. But I would like to share that as part of my extracurricular activities, there's an old people's home called so-and-so in Tamil, whatever you would like to say, where I actually go and teach and play old chess with the old people. I play. Then your bloody empathy comes out, yeah. Your Sulema money comes out. You get it? You have time. We are talking now, January, start doing it. Don't come out looking shallow. Actually do it. Link something of your hobby to something that shows that you just don't have a mind and a body, but that you have a heart. Sir.
So travel.
Travel.
Natural photography.
Then they say, have you visited Leh Ladakh? Have you visited, some of the rare parts? Like people say there's a bucket list of people. I mean, I'm on the board. There's a bucket list of people which normally talk about, places you must visit. Can you name 10 places in that bucket list of the world which you must visit? Name means name, yeah. I'm not asking you to have.
Mount Blanc, Switzerland. Mount Fiji in Japan.
Every is a rejection. Really be very cruel with you guys because the idea is that you have to succeed. Every is So if you say then I love traveling to mountainous places. One of my hobbies is traveling to mountainous places, and you can talk about it little briefly also. And my bucket list consists of Mont Blanc in Switzerland, and then Mount Fuji or whatever, 2-3 this thing. Have you done any mountain climbing? So all that will be coming in. So build it around that. So build it around your strengths. I'm just giving you ideas. Again, very big. Too big. Fiction is an ocean. You will not even know a drop of that. You may have 20 fiction, some author sitting over there. I got into, luckily, I had read about it. So there was a lady sitting there, and she asked me, what are the conclusions on a chapter? She asked me. I read it. Seriously, I read it. Therefore, so I spoke for it about 2 minutes. And then one other interview panel said, do you know this lady? I said, no, I'm sorry, I don't have the privilege of knowing her. She was actually the author of that book. Which means don't tell lies. Don't ever tell lies. Hindi, we say don't pheko. No, don't try and just chumma tuk raho. Ida potache. For all you know, the book that you may be quoting, the author may be sitting there. They know you, you don't know them. So don't do it. You have to be truthful. That's another thing that we will teach you, how to be truthful. But you are getting into a pit. The moment you say fiction, it's an ocean. What fiction are we talking about? Science fiction, natural fiction, life fiction, what fiction?
Usually try horror thriller.
So, and then again you have to be very specific. Try and make it as specific as possible. We'll try and tell you, coach you on that. If you give very specific answers, then the chances are that you will be further drilled in that specific. These are all oceans that you're talking about. If you get into it, we have to avoid what are the things. Why do you prefer a certain service? Why do you prefer one service over the other? All those things you have filled up. These are the details which you have already filled up. Then, as I said, any communities, if you are part of a community, do you think now this latest 10% reservation has come? You will be asked questions. There may be questions on that. What do you think about reservation policy? And till now it has only been on caste community basis. Now the first time, do you think it's something real, or is it a political gimmick? Because the elections would not have been held till then. Or do you think it's a political gimmick? Whether to give political answers, not political answers, are something that we will coach you on.
Same telegram, similar telegram, but when the telegram comes, we are just wondering, okay, he's a restaurant guy. And then when they made a research, in those 2 years, he got 20 times using the same excuse. So now tell me, how do you react to this guy? You're posted in a forward area. Everyone is spending time there. But these are the things you should be completely aware of. So I keep telling this to most people. I say, what you have doesn't matter. What you do with it matters. Okay? What you know doesn't matter. You know that knowing is not doing. Doing is doing. What you do with it matters. Okay? So when Sir finishes, I'll show you a video about how you do that part.
Okay, start going in front of the mirror and start speaking loudly, slowly and clearly. It's practiced. That can be nothing more wrong in an interview where at least 2 or 3 times the board has to say, excuse me, pardon, what did you say? Let's say negative from a selection point of view. So learn to speak, and I'm telling you it's very simple. And that's the example, I keep giving the army. How to speak loudly, slowly, and not offensively. How to speak loudly, slowly. That's the difference. Practice. Start practicing. As I said, with whatever be your answer, unless the board listens to you and is clearly able to understand what you're saying, all the effort that you would have taken in terms of your preparation would be lost. Practice, practice, practice. Go and sit in front of the mirror. Talk, talk, talk. Don't give unnecessary details. Never make sweeping statements. I think we saw a lot of examples of sweeping statements. These are all pitfalls. I'm telling you, Rishabh, all of you, these are pitfalls. If you give sweeping statements, you are making. Don't give a hushed, as I said, that's the whole idea. I said prayer. Your prayer is now that to be attentive and listen. Listen and then reply. 25 to 30 minutes, there's enough time for you to be able to. Do not attempt to make up your appearance. Don't make up appearances or try and give politically correct answers. So this will appeal politically, etc., etc. No. It's your personality. They're judging you. For God's sake, don't be chewing gum. I mean, I hope you're not chewing gum and, all those things. I'm telling you because I've seen kind of stupidities, those sort of things happening. People come in with that attitude. Don't chew gum. Don't openly criticize government policies. You could have your views on policies. I mean, as I said, they may ask you about, what about, do you think about economic reservation rather than reservations based on caste community? The answer should not be, sir, that is totally, in Tamil Nadu, jasti cholvanga. So that is totally, incorrect. Well, there's a point of view. You have to be very clear what you believe in. And if you think that at some point of time, deep down, maybe a lot of us, especially amongst the young, feel that economic reservation should probably be the only basis of reservation. So it's a new move, and we could talk about it in terms of the policy, then implementation, because how do you determine economic backwardness? First of all, how do you determine that this is the individual that we are talking about? What will be the basis? Should that be the Aadhaar or should it be what? Then the criteria for this thing is income. So that data resides somewhere else. Income data resides somewhere else. Land data resides somewhere else. Constructional data resides somewhere else. Individual data resides somewhere else. So you're looking at 4 databases to be, but I think there's an implementational challenges also that need to be looked at, because there are 4 data that we're looking at: establishing of identity, establishment of income. I mean, I may be dated because I was almost 39 years ago. So you'll be hearing from them. That's part of the 20-hour program. Then there'll be one session on views of service officers, as I said, and what the UPSC expects from you. These are this will be try and see that how do I look. So that's the whole idea. Group discussions. We will be sharing a lot of group discussions. I would also suggest that start doing amongst the people who will finally be joining us in the group. I would start you playing the role of, all of you start playing the role of, you take each other's interviews. So you come in, you interview, and start looking at from a peer-to-peer level. There's one mentor-to-peer level, and the other one would be peer-to-peer. So that's another thing that we will be asking you to practice. And the last, of course, we will be showing you videos of successful interviews, casual interviews, this thing. So both from a visual perspective, from a spoken perspective, and from a theoretical perspective. At all the 3 levels, you would have been shown as to what is it that is good, has been successful, because then the people are already in the service, whether it's the IAS or the IRS or the IPS. These are people who have gone through it, went through it, succeeded. So they are where you want to go. They are already where you want to go. So that's it. Now you have to decide on registering and enjoy your personality test. That's all. But start developing something that shows that you have a heart. Your mind has already been tested, your brain has already been tested. Now, your heart is what will be checked. Start developing it and do it genuinely. Don't do it just for the sake of the interview. And that's what will take you further when you go into the service. All that those people have done. When I showed you, Puma Udu, or I showed you Prashant, these guys have worked from their heart. And which is what I'm trying to tell you is that try and develop something which will show that you have a heart. They will select, your mind has been tested, your capacity to analyze has been tested. Now they want to find, do they have a heart of gold or not? Does that person have a heart of gold? And if it's not happening, then how you should be able to ensure that in the questions that are asked in that 25 to 30 minutes, that part of your character comes out. That this guy goes beyond. While others are sleeping till 8 o'clock in the morning, he gets up at 5 in the morning. While others just go for meeting their peers, he goes to an orphanage. Somebody said about reading, I think storybooks or something, fiction. So have you ever gone and read stories to orphans in your area? But how fabulous it will sound, Rishabh. One of my hobbies is fiction, and I give it, the greatest satisfaction is on Saturdays for me. Why on a Saturday, Rishabh? How do you leave?
Okay, so that's very important. Like I wanted to share with sir, you have physical, mental, emotional. This is your potential. But how do you bring it forth? That means you should be able to physically show them, boss, you're ready. That means I've shaved.
In terms of hobbies, if it's cricket, watching cricket is no hobby. It's not a hobby. You read something, as I said, work with some environmental issues. Can you go and join some NGO in your area? Where do you live?
Like servicing.
Yes, already mentioned.
They said environmental issues or something to do with nature, something to do with animals. When animals is fine. If there's any animal home next to where you go and take care of animals. Old people is very good.
Like even the Swachh Bharat, a lot of people are talking about defecation-free states.
Yeah.
Tamil Nadu is not there.
Yeah.
What can you contribute?
Open defecation, how do we do about open defecation? But nothing like, doing it yourself. As I said, like, one of my hobbies is on environment. Sir, we joined a small group, and in fact, do it. You are a officer who's likely to become. Do it if you can form a group of ex-NORA will be there or somebody will be there, join them in that area. Lions will be there, Rotary will be there, talk to them, volunteer to say that if nothing else, just a local park in your area, the local streets in your area, or going to, as I said, an old people's home and saying, okay, on one day we'll go and clean all the toilets in the old people home. Go with this thing.
I worked in camps, actually part of child development organization in Tamil Nadu. So I used to travel to the tribal villages. But when I was in
So this was now that you're not filled.
Points, but still no problem. I think
We'll try and bring it
find out an opportunity where you can express all of it.
I just have
You have to explore. You have to explore the opportunities.
You need to bring them to a topic which you're passionate about.
And strong.
Then if you're
And if
passionate.
they say something about the hobbies,
See,
you can also talk about the hobbies which you have mentioned. Apart from that, you can also mention about all those things.
essentially, the whole 25 to 30 minutes has to move from one peak to another peak to another peak to another peak.
But so hobby is something that you do every day, like how you are conducting in your day-to-day life. But I'm not doing all those activities.
Not necessarily. Hobby is not necessary every day.
It was part of my life, but I'm not doing it.
Not necessary. Hobby is something that is not something that you do very small. Sure.
So let me tell you about a friend of mine. Lankalingam runs Lanson Toyota Group. I don't know if you have heard Lanson Group. So Lankalingam, whenever he takes an interview for sales guys, the first thing he'll ask is, okay, how many girlfriends do you have? What do you say? Rejected.
What is the response?
Rejected.
None.
And you don't have any girlfriends? Okay.
No, I think he has his girlfriend is a nun.
See, my point is, you have not made an impression in your 22, 23 years on anyone. How are you going to make an impression on a customer? Sales guy. Simple as that. See what I'm saying?
It's not anything else. This is just to tell you that what we will be covering in those 20 hours. If you decide to join, we will be probably starting end of January, the course will start, the 20-hour session.
Yes.
We'll let you know the program details, but most probably towards the end of January, because assumption was that the first interviews will be on the 11th of February.
Immediately we have to start after this.
Yes.
After the Pongal, probably we can have one more teaser, because now that most of the interviews I think are in March. March and more or less end of Feb.
Yes. Yes.
So it's 20 hours. Now it's basically, again, let me tell you, this is purely for you people, that the number of times you go and practice, the number of times you practice at home is important.
What do we do? Support each other, help each other. It's not a
Form a
competition
group.
amongst you.
Form a group.
It's a collaboration with you. That will really make a difference. So I think they should
Form a group at least. Once you join, in any case, we'll put you into a
that's
group.
right.
Straight away, we'll put into a group. Subject-wise, you'll be told to start preparing. then come and lecture to people on that subject. So it's very simple. As I said, if you prepare for 1 hour, 1.5 hours, 2 hours on a subject, and then you are asked to speak for it for about 15 minutes. So if you're doing it collectively, so in 1 hour, you would have been able to do 6 subjects. But 6 hours of work would have gone into it. Let's say if you are 20 of you finally. So 20 hours of work would have gone on, or in, 20, if you're doing for 2 hours, 20 into 2, 40 hours of input would have come. And then come and teach those people, boss, this is what I learned about environment. This is more that I learned something about topical subjects, sports, ye, wo, etc. Bilkul. And this means that, the sessions starts at 8 in the evening and goes up to 3 in the morning, so be it.
No, in fact, I have lots of WhatsApp group. The best WhatsApp group that I have is biryani group. No, I'm not joking. So if you guys can come together, like he says, take a social cause and come together and do something, I think you'll be so solid together. I mean, that's we always work like that. In fact, my best friends in my course are the ones who did the interview with me. We bond, yeah. I mean, it's so strong. Just imagine all of you become a cadre at the same time. Just imagine what you could do. Amazing stuff. Just a thought.
Any other questions? Otherwise, we'll give you time to think about it and come back. But it's tough. I've already given you some indications of time since you mentioned no time. Chances are that towards the end we may start at 8 in the night and we end at 2 in the morning. That we will discuss.
Yes.
We will discuss. But I think you still need to, all of you go out. Go out, because somewhere the environment may come in, somewhere nature may come in, somewhere climate may come in, some topics will come in. And if you're doing some work in that regard, it will come out well. But watching cricket is a googly. We don't know whether the ball will turn this way or that way. We'll try and put it right as to how to do it. Yeah. The more specific you are in your DAF and the more specific you are in your answer, the less are the chances of the board freaking out and taking off. But we'll make sure that it's fine. Anything else? Otherwise, moving on. Thank you so much.
Feedback நித்யாவுடைய ஃபீட்பேக் வந்து நானே உட்காந்துருந்தேன் சார் நல்லா இது பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. ராகுல் பிரகாஷ் சார் அவரும் வந்து பிரகாஷ் சார் பட் அப்சர்வ் பண்ண வச்சேன். மார்க்கெட் போடுறேன் 1-on-1 செஷன் வந்து அப்சர்வ் பண்ண வச்சுருக்கேன். ஸ்ரீகாந்த் நந்திகிரியோட பேக்ரவுண்ட் இது வரைக்கும் பார்த்ததில்லை. சின்ன சின்ன விஷயம் தான் சார் சேஞ்சஸ் தேவைப்பட்டுச்சு. ஐ திங்க் ஐம் ஷூர் இந்த இதை அட்டன் பண்ணதுக்கப்புறம் definitely they
No, I mean, this is just like so I was saying a teaser. When we go in depth, I think we can make a marked change.
Content wise, they were really good, really good.